Rachel, and today I'm going to be telling you about the huge pivot that I'm about to take. You see, I've been doing illustration work for about 6 years. I started Pocket Dreams Company about 4 years ago. I've changed the name back and forth between my name and between Pocket Dreams Co. And I've been working on children's books illustrations, greeting cards, and helping out people out with book covers, and doing things like stickers and tote bags and printables for kids, Bible printables for kids, toy theater. And lately I was trying to figure out what the next step in my illustration career would be. I was looking into 2 different possible courses, one being the surface pattern design class that many of you are familiar with, and I've looked at it for many years, and I thought that this would be the next step that I would be taking this year. The other class that I was looking at was a course taught by a British art agent whom I admire very much, and I was really excited about the possibility of taking that class. That course helps you find your personal style as well as figure out what art agents are really looking for in your portfolio. And so between those 2 classes, of those 2 courses, I was leaning more towards the surface pattern design course because I was interested in getting my designs onto fabric patterns and wallpaper, and wanted to get into art licensing. So for me to pivot is a very huge deal. It feels like I'm closing the door on what I've been building for the past 4 years. But you know what? I'm super excited. So what am I doing? I have signed up for the waitlist for Milan Art Mastery Program. So what is the Mastery Program? The Mastery Program is an intensive 1-year course that teaches you how to paint. It teaches you how to paint with oils, acrylics, and mixed media. They also teach you branding and how to come up with your own personal style. And at the end, you have to create a portfolio of work and get your website running. I already have that going on. But they teach you to become a professional artist. So what caused me to want to take this Mastery Program? I came across the Mastery Program last year sometime, and I signed up for their email list, I think in early April. I loved seeing the artwork that they were creating. Their paintings have a very contemporary feel to them in that they're mixed media, and they do a lot of subject matter with portraits. But what drew me to the program were 2 things. It was that they would teach us the techniques of the old masters. And the second thing is that they would teach us the mixed media techniques. And so I feel like if I were to ever be a painter, I didn't want to just paint in a plain, realistic style, because I personally wouldn't buy any pictures that look like just realism. And I really like the type of paintings that I was seeing coming from graduates of their course. And the bigger clincher, though, the thing that really caused me to really want to take this class, was they speak about creating art with meaning, art with purpose. Illustration is a drawing that tells a story, but the idea of creating paintings with a deeper meaning that people can connect to emotionally, paintings that are prophetic in nature, that inspire people to overcome things in their life, really drew me in, and that's the type of art that I want to create. In the illustration world, I've been creating art that's optimistic, because there was a time in my life about 10 years ago when we had a child who got an illness that was very difficult. It went on for years. And I learned through the process of that how to overcome. Even if your circumstances don't change, you can find the beauty in your life, and you can use that and focus on the good things in life to help you overcome the mud that you have to wade through. So my art has always been optimistic, so I have no idea what kind of paintings I'll be creating. I don't know if that will carry over or whether there'll be something entirely different, but I'm really excited about embarking on this year of painting, finding my personal art style. I have no idea what it's going to look like in painting. Honestly, I've never done oils except for just a couple times, once as a kid, and once I used those water mixable oils. It turned out really badly. Okay. So I told you that I've tried oil painting twice. So the first time was as a kid, and my remembrance of that was a friend of my mother's had a set of oil paints, and she let me try them out, and I felt like I was pushing butter around and nothing stuck, and everything looked like the same color shade of mud. So it wasn't successful, and then I got to try out some water mixable oils, and this is what I painted. I didn't get very far, and I put way too much of the linseed oil on top, and basically turned it yellow, and it took me, it felt like forever to dry because I didn't know what to expect. And I couldn't get any darker colors on the background. I kept trying, and I finally just wiped it off with a rag, and that's what's left, and I never picked it up again. And I really don't know the first thing about it. In fact, last year I purchased some oil paints, but I never used them. I bought an easel, but I built it, but I never used it. I didn't know what the first thing about it, so I am so excited to sign up for this class and learn everything they have to tell us. It's a family-run business, so I hear. So when you sign up for the waitlist, it unlocks an entire series of an orientation program with videos to watch. They also have a YouTube channel, and I learned more in one video on color mixing than I've ever learned all these years. You see, I went to school for interior design. I have a master's in interior design, and but the backstory is that I wanted to go to art school. I wanted to go to Savannah College of Art and Design, actually, and I did receive some scholarship money to go there, but I didn't want to take on any debt, so I ended up going to a different college instead. And I loved my major. I loved interior design. My favorite part about it was the rendering part, where we learned to do interior renderings with colored pencil and marker, alcohol markers back then. But so I think all of that will come into play in my painting, just all that training in drawing interiors and creating a space that is welcoming. But I don't really know how to paint, and every time that I have tried to paint, I didn't like the outcome, so I really want to gather the tools of learning. I want to get the skills needed to be able to put down on a canvas those things that are in my head. So I'm super excited. Let me tell you about the orientation program. When you get in there, you get to watch a video on introduction to who Ellie Milan, the leader, and her daughter Dimitra. They're both owners. There's also their son-in-law, Jake Dunn, who is a part of this program. I think their entire Ellie's husband is part of this program. The Milan Mastery Program is run by the Milan family, and all of them play a part in a role in teaching us these tools of learning. They give you a supply list, which is extensive. They tell you how to build an easel. First thing I began doing was taking inventory of my art supplies. I have gathered art supplies over the years, and I have quite a few supplies, but I did not have everything that was on the list. So the first thing I put together was a box of my drawing supplies. I've been drawing since I was little, and I have a whole bunch of pencils that I've had since the days of interior design school. And I worked for an architect too for a while, and we had to use those H pencils for drafting. Then we moved to CAD, computer aided drafting. So I do have an extensive pile of pencils, but I had never really used these things, these little stumps, so I bought some of those. I have one of these little things. I bought some more masking tape. I had even bought compressed charcoal, but I had never used it because, you see, I love the old style drawings of those sanguine, those illustrations done during the Renaissance time period by people like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, where they use the brown chalks, the red chalks. But I didn't use it. I didn't know what to do with it. I bought myself a new pack of pencils, of drawing pencils. These are graphite. I bought charcoal. I've never really used charcoal, maybe in kindergarten, so I don't know the first thing about that. And they had us buy this really interesting tool called a proportional art divider. I saw on one of their videos them using this, and I want to learn how to use this because I think this will increase accuracy. So anyway, I put together a box of my drawing tools, and then I took inventory of my oil paints and discovered that I needed to buy a lot. I had only bought a starter set, so I really didn't have very much. So the most interesting thing about the orientation program to me was this chart, this color temperature chart. It basically describes that all paints, all colors have a warm or cool temperature to them. Well, I kind of knew that already, but I didn't know which color is which. Basically, on this color wheel here, red, orange, yellow, you can see the entire wheel here, colors can tend towards the warm. Like, so for example, if you're looking at this red, if the red has more of an orange or a yellow tint, then it's warm. If it edges more towards the purple or blues, then it's a cool red. So each color here has a warm and cool. Like a yellow, there's a warm and cool yellow, there's a warm and cool orange, there's a warm and cool red, and so on and so forth. The colors opposite on the color wheel are the complementary colors. So red and green are complements, orange and blue are complements, and yellow and purple are complements. We learned that in school as well. But But there's another interesting thing, is that there are transparent colors and opaque colors. I did not know this at all, and in fact, one of the times when I did try to oil paint, I remember trying to paint and the paint was see-through, and I was like, what's with this paint? It doesn't have enough pigment, but I didn't know that it was translucent on purpose. And I have a feeling that it has to do with all the glazes that they put down during the Renaissance time period, and I love that. Whenever I would go to museums, I love looking at the paintings up close, and I could see that there was somehow some layering going on, but I have no idea how you do that. So I cannot wait to learn these techniques. So this chart is amazing. So I have here a box of oil paints, and I went through and did what they recommended, which is label the paints with warm, W for warm and C for cool, and transparent or opaque. And on each paint tubes come with a little square on the back, or square on the, well, this one doesn't have it, go figure. For example, this one has it. This one has a square, and the square is filled in. So if the square is filled in, that means the paint is opaque, and if the square is empty, it means it's transparent. That's how you can do it. Some paints who don't have a label, you can just look them up online. So I got my paints ready, and they do divide the supply list up into two sections. One is for the oil section and one is for the mixed media section. So I just purchased the supplies needed for the first section because it is expensive. At one time I got myself the thinner. They do recommend some non-toxic thinners, and I had already bought some toxic thinner last year. Didn't open the bottle, I can't return it because I ordered it, but I did buy some of the non-toxic thinners, so we're gonna have to see how that works out. And I have my jars I've been gathering. I've been washing out some cans to do mixing it. I have my razor to clean my palette. I bought myself a new palette. I was going to use a glass from a picture frame, which you can do, and you can just tape the edges, but I thought, you know what, we're going to be painting on this every day. I might as well get a nice one. I got one that has the white backing so that I can see my paint colors better. I also went and got a piece of plexiglass for my IKEA desktop where I'm gonna lay out all my paints, because I know the table's gonna get so dirty, so I invested in the piece of plexiglass. I got 2 rolling carts to separate my media to put my oil paint supplies in one and my acrylic supplies in the other. So I'm super excited. I can't wait for this class to start. And I didn't even know when it was going to be beginning, so I actually emailed them and they told me that it would begin at the 1st of the month. So February 1st is my start date. And I hope to create some videos to show you after the first couple of weeks what the program is like. So if you have any questions, at this point you should email them or ask them about the program, but in the future, if you want to drop a comment, ask me any questions about how it's going, I'd be glad to answer them. And I wish you all the best in your art journey. And if you're interested in learning how to paint, I recommend these people, even though I haven't started yet. They look like an awesome group to work with. I think they're going to be excellent teachers based on what I have seen on their YouTube videos. And go make some art today.